Good morning from a beautiful, sunny, and nice and cool El Paso, Texas. It is just past 8 in the morning for me. Nick over there on the East Coast, a little bit later for him. We've got Kate and Jim, who's local time to Tottenham Hotspur. We've got the crew assembled. First of all, good morning to each and every single one of you. Jimbo, we didn't get
Good
to say
morning.
hello before the show started, but I hope you're doing well, my friend.
I am good. The intro's like 2 hours, so I didn't rush.
Right. You can take your time. You can put
Yeah.
your pants and your shorts on.
I'm
Usually
good,
I'm
thanks.
about 2 minutes late anyway, because I'm usually making myself a nice smoothie. But Kate, good morning to you. You were the first one here. You were pushing the group, said, "Where's the link?" And you know what? I like it. You keep us accountable. Your predictions are typically right, albeit not last week.
Correct.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm just got to show what I showed Jacob earlier.
Mm-hmm. Cootie, cootie,
Modelling the old
cootie.
cutie shirt today. But yeah, I'm good. I'm so excited for this game. I think it's going to be an absolute goal fest. Yeah, look, twins.
I
Can
always
I?
keep mine. I keep mine on deck. Ever since he started getting disrespect, I always at fault for every single goal. Blah blah blah. I ain't hearing it. Kuti,
Can,
my captain in the Premier League, when he's been captain, 0 goals scored, 0 losses, 0 draws, only wins. So how about that? Nick, good morning, all the way to What's
can I
up?
just give you a news flash?
What's up?
Chelsea are losing 1-0. Nottingham Forest just scored.
Well, if that don't put us, Nuno Espirito Santos is definitely making all of us proud this year so far. He beat
I
Liverpool
know,
1-0.
finally, man. He didn't say
It
when he
only
said
took.
that. He didn't say when we would be proud of him. He just said
True,
eventually we would be
He said
proud.
it's.
You know,
At some point,
listen,
we're
you
all going to be very proud.
stick 3 past Chelsea. We'll be proud there. When no nobody, just stay away from N17.
Yeah. Well, speaking of away from N17, Nick, you and I are not there, but good morning to you. Hopefully, your morning has been filled with love, joy, and Cuti Romero as well.
You know, before a match, it always is, man. Maybe a little trepidation, but it's always love right before a match. It's right after the match. That's when we see. And the last 5 times in a row, I've been feeling the immaculate vibes, as a certain Texan likes to say. You know, so
I
I'm
don't know
doing
what
pretty good,
Texan you're
man.
talking about, but sounds like a pretty dang good fella. All right,
But yeah, man, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good about this right now, man. I'm not saying I'm confident, but I'm getting to the confidence factor, and I'm sure that you're going to talk about that a little bit about the general feeling around the Tottenham community right now.
Well, once we get closer to kickoff, hopefully the little bit of trepidation that you're feeling goes away and we feel nothing but confidence. I know Kate will make sure that we stay grounded in reality. So that's always a beautiful thing. And Jim's just going to pull us up into the skies where we're allowed to dream and think big. But thinking big, my first thought here really that I want to throw around, it's looking at Brighton. They play, I think, the second or third highest line in the Premier League and the second or third highest press in the Premier League. It's us, City, and Brighton. And I'm not sure who second and third are. We know who number 1 is, but I'm not sure which one is second and third. I think City outbeat them in the possession, but they outbeat City in the highness of the line, so to speak. So, I think it's going to be an interesting affair. A lot of people are saying this might be KG basketball game type, back and forth, high scoring. Jim, I'll start with you. What is your initial thoughts? Obviously, the manager for Brighton, whose name is slipping me. It's a very German name, and I messed up the pronunciation yesterday. It's if you'll bear with Heitzele. Heitzele.
You gotta get a
Well,
little more
big up to
phlegm in the back of
Fabian.
your
He's actually Swiss, believe it or
Yeah,
not.
it's Swiss.
Um, Yeah, and he hasn't won a single game this season, Mr. Hitsule. So you're talking about feeling confident. I'm trying to not feel cocky because I feel confident. I'm trying to not get into. Last time I went over this, I was like, I'm feeling confident, a little too cocky. We got stomped up. Well, not stomped up, but we did lose. But Jimbo, where are you at in regards to how you feel with Tottenham, and then looking at Brighton real briefly? Another Highline team. They haven't won a match. Is it a matter of their manager is still trying to ingratiate his philosophy?
Yeah, do you know what? I got up about 5:30 this morning, Jacob. I wanted to watch your stream, Bobby K's stream. But as I put my iPad on, he flashed up with his interview, and I watched his interview first. He comes over really well. and the way he talks about
He's an Ainge fan.
team. Huh?
He's also an Ainge fan.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, he's a massive Ainge fan. But he come over really well, and he was talking about that they're still in a transition, that they're still making mistakes because they're still learning his philosophy. So I'm very hopeful. I mean, I like him a lot. I really do like the guy, and I love that type of football. So I like him even more because of the football he plays. But I think we'll have too much for him today, Jacob. I think we'll be too good for him. I'm not worried one bit. I'm very, very confident.
Well, Jim, I like that because anytime you're like the soft pillow on the bed, so to speak. I just know when my head lays down on that pillow, I'm gonna get nice soft dove feathers, so to speak. Kate, let me go on to you, the nice cool side of the pillow to cool me down in the nighttime. When I'm feeling very confident in what we might do. Where are you at with Tottenham? Where's your, I don't like to say that I'm a professional when I look into these other teams. I've seen 2 Brighton matches when they played United and when they played Arsenal. Outside of that, I haven't seen the other 3-4 games that they've played. I think 5 in all comps. So, but they haven't won a single game in the Premier League. Their line is high. There's a lot of things that you look at and you say, well, maybe we could take advantage of it. Where are you at in regards to how you see Brighton and how you see Tottenham matching up with them?
I actually am mega confident today, which is quite bizarre. Yeah, it's a strange feeling. I am.
Now I'm getting worried. No, I'm starting to get worried now.
Because they play very similar to us, but I don't think that they've got it down to a T yet, nor do I think that they've got the level of players that we've got. So although it is kind of being billed as the Battle of the High Lines and the High Line Derby, I just think that we've got the more of experience of playing that way. We've got a better manager and we've got a better crop of players, in my opinion. So I expect there to be lots of goals, but I expect, like Jim said, Tottenham to have way too much for him today. So don't come to me looking for realism today because I'm flying high on the Ainge train.
Maybe I need to be the realist one today, the one who speaks nothing but facts. Maybe that'll be me, but maybe not. Nick, where are you at? Same question I've asked to Jimbo and Kate, but then also I'm going to throw this spanner in the works. João Pedro, he won't be playing, and he was, to me, probably their most lethal goal threat.
Goal scorer, yeah, without a doubt, man. But listen, this team is giving us
dunked on
trouble.
us last year.
Yeah, without a doubt. Estupinian too. This team has given us problems, man, and we found it hard to deal with them, particularly last season. But when you look at where they are, and we're further along in our project now, they got rid of their manager. They have not had the time to settle clearly. They can score goals, but they're definitely, the man Swiss seems like he's setting up his defense a little bit like cheese. We can get at them with our senior speed and our secret weapon. What are they calling him? Brenaldinho?
Yeah,
so if it's
Bernaldo,
gotcha, Bernaldo.
Well,
so
the Tottenham Hotspur account, the official account tweeted out Brennan's face imposed on Ronaldo Nazario's face.
Yeah, Ronaldo R9. Yeah. So we'll go with that one for now. But if it is in fact a high line versus a high line scenario, I think that we've got the beating of them in sheer ability, and sheer quality going forward, and a guarantee of chances coming through. However, this guy, they say he's an Ainge fan, etc. He didn't steal the furniture. He didn't walk away with nothing. That's great. But apparently he asked too many questions. Ainge told him to go take a walk with somebody else after a while because Ainge ain't giving him the keys to the playbook, Mm-hmm. He's not exactly an Ainge clone, though. What they say is he tends to be a little more pragmatic, and he does adjust depending on the squad itself. So will he actually sit back a little bit, or will he try to go head-to-head with us, which is going to make it a fun-as-hell game. It's going to make it interesting as hell with the great matchups that we got. Porro versus Matoma. Man, I'm interested to see that. Go ahead.
I just wanted to provide a little context to what you were saying earlier about Ainge not providing the playbook. This man was a part. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. To my understanding, Hertzule, he was a part of a group of coaches that got to sit in on Ainge training and watching Ainge training and Ainge talk to him and stuff. So he became a fan of him then. And this was what, a couple years ago or something? I'm not sure. But I know that this guy is a fan of Ainge. I know that he has met Ainge. He went to something where he was learning from Ainge. And the last part I didn't hear about. Is that actually true, or were you just
He spent
bantering
a lot.
little
He
bit?
spent some. No. He spent some time with him, walking around with him, because I guess he's a fanboy.
But to ask him
you
the
know, kinda
questions,
like
was he probing a lot into Ainge? Like, did Ainge say like, "Oh, I had to tell this kid to
in
piss
the
off"?
interview,
Or what?
that's what Ange was alluding to. He was alluding to he's a really nice guy and he's a great student, and he was asking a lot of questions, and it got to the question point where he's like, "Okay, now we'll go walk with this guy."
Well,
So
you
they
know
did like
what?
a walk and talk for a while.
Well, I didn't ask the question on purpose because I felt like the lineups were going to come out and make us all shut up about it anyway. And the question was, is Timo Werner starting? And the answer is an emphatic yes. The lineups are out, everybody, and it is an emphatic yes. Timo Werner is starting. Now, I also didn't ask the question because I felt like it was a little redundant. Mikey Moore played 90 minutes on Thursday. There's just no way that I saw him starting this match while Timo Werner got a rest. He did start, but he did get pulled off early. And again, that to me just speaks to he was giving Mikey Moore a full 90. And while it was so fantastic to see, and it's something I've been craving like a fish craves water to breathe, I needed some Mikey Moore on the pitch. But I'll read off the starting 11 here, because as you can see, Cuti Romero is the captain. So, Kate, I'm glad you chose that shirt specifically. And Mrs. Nick Lazy 8, Mrs. Lazy 8.
That's right.
Big
She
up to
woke
her
up without,
as well.
Yeah, she woke up this morning without any probing or prodding or request. She put on that Cootie shirt right away because she knew something was going to happen today.
She knew. Well, El Capitano, 0 goals conceded, only wins, while Cuti Romero is the captain. He will be the captain today with Vicario, Pedro Porro, Romero, Van de Veen, and Destiny does make his return into the team. So Ainge was not lying in the press conference yesterday when he said Destiny should be good to go away to the Amex. The midfield is the 3 that I predicted. It's the best 3 midfield that I think combo-wise we've put together, assembled in this little carnival, so to speak, this little merry-go-round of midfielders we have now. And it's a beautiful sight because sometimes you want to ride the elephant. Sometimes you want to ride the unicorn. Sometimes the carriage is, you can sit next to your mom in the carriage. So it's a great thing that we've got going on in the midfield. And this is, for me, is the best 3 in the midfield that we've seen, which is Bentancur, Madison, and Dan Kulusevski. The front 3 is as such Brennan Johnson, looking to make it 6 and 6. Solanke as our striker, and Timo Werner on the left, much to be expected. And I also thought this, and I'm going to throw this to you, Jim, first, and I want to get your opinions, and we'll just start with Timo Werner, because, the chat, the first, I think, 100 messages came in was about Timo, but Ainge really stood by the signing yesterday and by the player yesterday by saying, look, 2 weeks ago, we were having the same conversation about Brennan Johnson. Now you're talking to Brennan Johnson real nice. Now you might be saying this to Timo Werner. You did the same thing with Dominic Solanke. So he says, he thinks that in this day and age, people are very quick to say you're either phenomenal or you're shit. And he's like, people don't see that there's an in-between area. And then he went on to explain some of the good things that Timo Werner does. He creates space. He knows where to be. He's the Mikey Moore instance. He could have scored a goal in the 77th minute, Mikey Moore, had he been in the position that Timo Werner constantly finds himself in, which is at that back post waiting for Brennan Johnson. And, so there is a little bit of, I think, understanding in regards to how Ainge feels about Timo Werner, because I've banged my head against the wall week in, week out when I see Timo in that starting 11. But no Sonny, it was really either going to be Mikey Moore or Timo Werner. For you, how do you feel seeing this? Do you agree with Ainge Postecoglou? Would you have started anyone different?
No, I wouldn't have done today. I'll tell you why. Because that high line with his speed, I think could be crucial. So, yeah, I would have started Timo today. And look, I said it on Kate's stream the other day, Jacob. He played well the other night. I mean, look, at the end of the day, everybody judges him on the 3 really good chances he's had this season, which he's messed up, Had he put them away, we'd be talking about him in a different light. So, but he does. He finds space. I mean, you got to look that he got into them positions. What other forward have we got that's done that? No, he was in so much room, but he just messed the ending up of it. he'll get one, and I think he'll kick on. So I'm glad he's in the team, and we should stick by him. I think we should not get on his back and curse him and kick him out of the club. He's one of our players. He's got our shirt on. He goes on the pitch with this badge. That means we should back him.
Sorry, I'm not going to kiss it yet. Kate, talk to me. Lineup is out. Tell me about Timo. Tell me what you thought, what you think about the other 10 names. I mean, 5 of them were a given, in my opinion. But what are your thoughts immediately? And then real quick, the bench is Fraser Forster, Jed Spence, Radu Dragusin, Archie Gray, Yves Bissouma, Pop Matisar, Lucas Bergvall, Mikey Moore, and Will Lankshear. I'm just going to say it. Harry Kane 2.0, the regen. He's incoming. Loading currently.
But the funny thing is, when you watch the chat, when you're sitting here, someone put terrible bench, and at the same time, someone put such a strong bench. It's so funny how different people see different things. Do you know what I mean? To me, that's a good bench because you've got Bergvall, Moore, and Lankshear can all come on and change the game. You've got Bissouma as an option to solid up the game. Gray can play all over the place. To me, that's a good bench, but everyone sees things differently. Exactly the team I thought he'd put out. Exactly to a T. I thought he'd start Werner. Listen, we're paying this guy a lot of money. I think Ange is determined to stick with him. I feel for the guy. I can't help it. I know he's earning ridiculous money, and that's not his fault. If someone offered me 165 grand a week to miss chances left, right, and centre, I'd rip their arm off.
I just want to real quickly jump in on the money part. We reworked his contract and the deal with Leipzig. So everyone's operating off the assumption that we're still paying 100% wages for Timo Werner, whereas we don't know that yet. We ain't going to find out until the quarter's over, and then it really comes out. Tottenham are paying X percentage of the 180 that he gets a week per contract from Leipzig. So that we've reworked every aspect of the loan. I find it hard to believe that Daniel Levy would not also rework the amount that we're paying for week of Timo Werner, and Ainge even said that he didn't sign Timo up to be a starter, but please continue.
Yeah, I said that last time, and you said exactly the same thing. So I shouldn't have said the money, but you get what I'm saying.
I did say the same thing. I do so many shows nowadays. I don't know what I say, where I say it, and who heard it. So
that's all right. The thing is with Timo, I think he's not been playing terrible. He's got in some good spaces, in some good positions. He's put in some decent crosses, but he just cannot finish his dinner. But I think if he can get one goal, whether it's a lucky goal off of someone's eyeball or someone's hip, I do think his confidence will go up, go through the roof, much like Johnson, and we might see Timo Werner of old. But getting on his back, slagging him off on social media does not help. We've seen it with other players. I get everyone's frustration with him, but there is a player there. You don't become a bad player overnight. And Mikey Moore, like you say, he's a young kid, played 90 minutes the other day. He was never, ever going to start this match today, in my opinion.
Yeah, so big upside answer. I see you says, what does Mikey have to do? Mikey put in a hell of a performance on Thursday, but Nick, talk to me. Where are you at? Do you agree with us in regards to the Timo Werner thing? Are you a little bit more? For me, I mean, I think we all know what we're gonna get. It's like when you make a cup of Folgers coffee. Is it the greatest cup of coffee? No, but it's got caffeine in it.
But it'll do a job.
And if you put enough sugar in it, you either tote the line of diabetes or you find a nice, sweet little shitty coffee drink. But where are you kind of at with that and the rest of the lineup and the bench?
So Timo is shitty gas station coffee, is what you're saying.
No, Folgers. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. That's the slogan.
Listen, man, I'm going to be on the same boat. I would have been happy either way, frankly. It looks like the way Ange is setting up, he's expecting Brighton to be the high line team that we've seen in the last couple of matches of theirs and to not adjust anything. And look, I was watching Ben and Sim's preview yesterday, man, and they had a nice disagreement, and that's when Ben and Sim, big up to them, are at their best when they disagree on something.
And I do like it when they disagree. That's fun.
Ben was all, and that's what made me fall in love with this show, is Ben was all up on the Mikey Moore while Sim was giving his reasons on starting Werner. And Sim made some damn good points, is that with the high line that Brighton is playing, on that side, I don't think that they can handle Werner. Werner is going to get by them and get into space. The thing is, we have to play to his strengths. We cannot be going in there saying, oh, he's going to get past his man and he's going to score himself, because we know from the sample size that we've seen him at this team and in Chelsea that that's not going to happen. So we need to get people in the box there with him. One of the most frustrating things about last season for me was actually our wingers actually doing what we wanted them to get in there, but there's nobody there to follow up. And case in point, our last match, that one Brandon Johnson shot right across goal was actually beautiful. And it was a beautiful cross. He got way past, nobody could touch him, but there was nobody there to finish it up. So we have to play this straight. One of those midfielders or even one of the center backs, as they're prone to do, they have to be watching for both those wingers. And when they start making their run, it has to be the trigger for somebody to make that run with them and for the rest of the team to cover up. That's what I've been noticing that I want a little bit of a tweak on over the last couple of matches, man. And I have confidence that Timo's going to do a job today.
Well, on my preview show yesterday, I predicted Timo to start just based on the contextual evidence that Mikey Moore is 17 years old, played 90 minutes in a foreign country in Hungary. And it was a physical game. He was getting fouled, I think, about 5-6 times by my recollection. But so I knew Timo Werner would start. And I feel confident enough to say with that high line of Brighton that he's at least going to get a chance to score or 3. Now, what he does with him, is it going to be take it right at the keeper when he should have gone around? Is it going to be going around the keeper when you should have gone at the keeper? I feel like the third time may be the charm, but this will be, I think, the 5th game that we're looking at him to hopefully score something. But that doesn't mean he can't get an assist, because Brennan Johnson is on fire. If he just sizzled that thing across a 6-yard box, Brennan Johnson, for me, will be there. Brennan Johnson's positional awareness has been fantastic, and I think a little bit of respect from my end is needed, because I was one of the people, I sat up here and I said, I just don't think that he's a good footballer right now. I don't see the progression in the offseason. I didn't see this. I didn't see that. And Jimbo said, Jacob, shut the hell up. He said, Jimbo said, Jacob, just hang on. Hang on, the young lad, and just wait for it. Now he's 6-6, and I'm wondering, is it a purple patch or is it true? Is this a mirage, or is this the young man blossoming before our eyes? And anyone can answer that as if they want. I'm genuinely curious, because Brennan Johnson today could make it 6-6, and who knows? He could have had 2 Thursday in Europa. But I'm feeling better and better about Brennan Johnson because of a few things. And I want anyone to weigh in on this. I think Brennan Johnson with the ball is taking his man on. He's more confident. He nutmegged the keeper. He went around a few people. He's done some nasty things with the ball lately that I've been crying for our wingers to do. And he's been doing some of them with confidence, and he's been taking the shots on, and they've looked halfway decent. He's been hitting that crossbar a couple times. He's slaughtered it in the far post another couple times. But does anyone think this is a fluke from Brennan Johnson?
No.
Do you think this is just a purple patch?
No, definitely not.
No,
you could see there was a footballer in there. You could see it. I saw it when I watched him Forest, and when he come to us, I watched a bit more of him clips, and you could see there was a footballer in there. It was just, it seemed like he maybe it was too much for him. The training grounds, like one of the best on the planet, the stadium, 65,000 people.
The expectation at Spurs. The expectations at Spurs are a lot higher.
I think it was just maybe a bit too much for him, that he had to get a new manager, new philosophy, which is completely different to what he played. I think he just needed to get his feet under the table and get a bit of confidence. And it's horrible to say, Jacob, but that abuse that he took on social media, that he took off, and shut his account down, that seemed to be the turning point. Maybe he just sat himself down and thought, F this, I know I'm a good footballer. And from that minute, after that, he's just played brilliant. I knew there was a footballer in there, Jacob. I knew it. And I knew it would come out. I knew Ange would bring it out. I think Ange is the perfect manager for young players. I really do.
And like Nick said,
Go ahead.
it was a hefty price tag, and
Yeah.
footballers don't decide their price tag, but there must be a bit of pressure over you when a team's paid that much money for you. And he had social media and everyone's saying, what a waste of money, blah blah blah. You know, he is young, and people say he's not young, he's 23. Well, 23 is young, that's half my age, so he's a baby as far as I'm concerned. You know,
I'm getting to that age where it's like he's how old now? That's 10 years younger than me. Boy, my back hurts. You know, that is a young man. If I could change things at 23, start doing things differently at 22, 23, how different I'd be right now. It's a fair point, Kate.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I'm convinced at the age I'm at right now, man, that most men don't really start using their brain or acting like adults until they hit 30. So
Well, the frontal lobe
to go.
finally fully develops at 21, I think is what it is. Your frontal lobe of the human
Jim's
brain.
62, and I'm still waiting for him to start using his brain. What's going on?
No, Jim's always using his brain.
A little more coaching.
But he
little more
listens to
coaching,
his
Kate.
heart.
He'll get there.
Oh, there it is. Patience and coaching. The price tag wasn't his fault, Kate. All right, it's not his fault. But I want to talk also a little bit about Dominic Solanke because he could have made it 4-4. Unfortunately, did not get a goal. He almost had an assist for that Brennan Johnson goal. I don't know if they actually gave him the assist or not, but Dominic Solanke for me has been a sight for sore eyes, so to speak. A tall glass of water on a hot sunny day, and he's been holding up the ball well. He picks the ball up in areas. Now, I say this and people lose their minds. So please, disclaimer, I am not saying he is this player. However, I'm saying there are things that he does on the pitch that emulate a certain somebody who we used to have, somebody I used to know, shout out Goat Yay, but his name's Harry Kane, where he drops deep, he picks the ball up, gives it to somebody, and then runs, and then becomes that target man. And then what he does with that run is he pulls a midfield and a center back in his direction and just opens up space. He's a space creator. He's a facilitator. He grabs the ball. He's the hold up play. There's a lot of the things that he does. Now, again, I'm not talking about the final third. I'm just talking about in the build up play and when we're on defense and we're doing the press. I like his press as well. There's a lot of things with Dominic Solanke where he's saying, Jacob, you need to talk to me nicely. Because when we first signed him, I made the argument, I don't know that he's better than Richie. But in the 4 games that I've seen him play well, I can ostensibly say I think he's done things that I haven't seen Richarlison necessarily do to a high level, albeit moments where Richarlison did do those things nice. They're few and far between, and he's never really available. And availability is sometimes your best ability, because if you're, the best player in the world, but you can only play 8 games a season, well, then, what use are you really to me outside those 8 games? But, Dominic Solanke, again, I just want to say, I was a doubter, and like Shrek, he has made me a believer. Where is everyone at with Dominic Solanke? Kate, I'll start with you. And again, I didn't say he was Harry Kane or he's as good as Harry Kane or he's done anything comparatively to Harry Kane, because people get upset when you start saying, but on the pitch, there's things that he does where I'm like, that's a little twinkle in my eye, a little sparkle on my Sunday, you know what I mean? But where are you at with Dom Bomb?
I was the same as you. I wasn't sure he was the answer. I thought he was pretty much on the same level as Richarlison, but he is levels above Richarlison, in my opinion. His link-up plays, hold-up play, he's strong, he's constantly, if he loses the ball, he wants to win the ball back. I think he has been an incredible signing so far. I remember Terry at the Football Terrace saying that he would have took him to Manchester United in a heartbeat, and I was a bit sort of dumbfounded. But having watched him, I was worried he was going to be sort of a one-season wonder, because last year at Bournemouth. But he's just proving everyone wrong, and I love people like that. I love people that prove you wrong. Brendan Johnson and Solanke proving all the doubters wrong. And yeah, I think he's going to be immense for us. I'm not putting him up there in the same category as Harry Kane like some people, but I think he's going to be a good of us.
I'm muted, but hey, don't do that, because now what's going to happen? I'm like, did you hear Jacob? He said Dominic Solanke is as good as Harry Kane. It's like, oh my god,
And that's your Kate's channel.
Real quick,
Exactly.
get the likes up. There's over 400 people here. There's been over 300 for majority of the show. No reason the show can't be on 400 likes. And that's not even for me. That's for Ben and Sim, the two gentlemen you subscribe to the channel for. So come on, do the right thing. It's free. It costs absolutely nothing. But look, I brought up this lineup as well, and I didn't ask anybody, but I'm going to throw two-parters because we are in the last half hour of the show. And I want to make sure that I get all my questions out because I got questions, and I have personal vendettas against seagulls, which we don't have to dive into here because we are on limited time. But
Shower
be that as it may,
seagulls, man.
Terrible people. I'm gonna hold my tongue. This is a big platform.
The amount of windshield wiper fluid that I gotta go through when I go to the beach.
I'm just gonna say I was at a very rough part in life, and I was really looking forward to this sandwich and an ice cold Dr. Pepper. And I had my sandwich, and I had my open top Dr. Pepper. Just opened it, took a drink, and then I was like, bite of the sandwich. This is actually making me feel better in my life right now. And he took the sandwich, and in the kerfuffle, I knocked over my Dr. Pepper, and it spilled in the ocean. So for me, in that moment, I was like, that seagull may just be the sign that God is giving me right now to just, give it up, buddy. Give it up. And I've personally, my wife calls them Hollister FC because every time she sees their logo, it reminds them of the brand Hollister.
Yeah.
And I like to make fun of Brighton fans because if there are any Brighton fans that don't like Americans, you have American Express on your chest. When you go to watch your team play in their home ground, it's the American Express ground. So you can all hold that. And also Gareth Bale dunked on their head top on my 30th birthday. And that was fantastic. So anytime we can stomp on these seagulls, metaphorically, not literally, I do enjoy it. So, Jimbo, I'm going to read this lineup, and I already know what your answer is going to be. That's why I asked you this first. They've got Bart Verbrugge in goal, Joel Veltman, Lewis Dunk, Lewis Dunce, Adam Webster, the dictionary, Ferdi Kadioglu, it sounds Turkish, Carlos Baliba, Jack Hinchelwood, which actually this guy, number 41, he's actually kind of a tidy player, and I'm not going to say what I want to say. Kaoru Matoma on the left wing, Jorginho Ruder, I believe he's going to kind of be, they have him as a 10 on the lineup. I think he's going to kind of be that false 9. Not really a creative 10, and Yakuba Minta there on the right, who did play for Newcastle last season. Does any of those names strike fear into your heart, Jim?
No.
And what's your thoughts on Dominic Solanke as well?
No, I'll be short and sharp with that. No, none of them. I don't fear any of them. No, not one bit. You could put Haaland in there, and I wouldn't fear him.
No.
Right, and that's Solanke. It's funny how some Spurs fans, not all, I'm not saying all, some Spurs fans jump on the bandwagon. He doesn't score in his first couple of games, and all of a sudden he's the worst striker out there. He was perfect for us. I said to Kate when we bought him, before he even kicked a ball, he's exactly what we need. Strong, holds the ball up like Harry did, brings people into play. He's the right. The strikers that were out there, for me, he probably was the only one that would have fitted in perfect. The ones that were up for sale. So I'm just so happy he's here. I think he's going to end up immense for us. Is he 27? I think he's 27.
Yeah.
So
I think he just turned 27, like a week or two ago.
So he's probably thought, right, I'll go to Tottenham. I'll stay there. Spend the last few years of my career there. How many years he's got left? So it's not like he's a young guy who's up and coming and he's going to want a big move to Real Madrid.
But in theory, he should be in his prime. He's not like an old guy that we brought in either. He's like, I'm going to spend my later years seeing the sunset set in North London.
He's 27, Jacob. Normally by then, they want to be settled in a club. It's very rarely they move on until they get, to the end of their career. So I think he's going to be with us a while, and I think he's going to be immense for us. 100%.
Well, I think we signed him, on a 5 or 6 year deal. And if he's 27, ostensibly, I would keep him here until about 32, 33 years old. Now, whether he stays here that long and what he does is all up to him. But from all the signs and things that I've seen thus far, I have a lot of hope. And I'm starting to get really big hopes for what Dominic can do here. And again, I don't think we're going to rely on him like we did a Harry Kane type when it was Kane and Son show. I think we're going to share the sugar and the weight I don't know what the turn of phrase I'm trying to. It's still in the morning here, so forgive me. But he's not going to bear the weight of the cross, so to speak. He's not going to have all the pressure on his shoulders. He's just a part of the system, and as long as he does his job to the utmost, he's going to score a lot of goals. And some people have him projected to be our leading goal scorer for the team. Nick, let me ask you. I read all those names earlier. Did any of them strike fear into your heart? And what do you think about Dominic Solanke?
Listen, fear is not the thing. Listen, Matoma, I'm wearing my Kawasaki Frontale hat, man, because I highly rate the kid, and the only other team I support is Kawasaki Frontale. He came from Kawasaki Frontale. I've been on the dude stint for a few years now, man, and it broke my heart when he went to Brighton. He was out a hell of a lot of last year, so he's got a lot to prove. So that's a battle, a matchup. Him against Porro, the battle of the wee men, is something that I'm very interested in seeing today. Because Porro's been on his defensive game, man. He's been putting in very good shifts, So we know what he can do going forward, but I've been very impressed with him defensively, especially in the last couple of games when we've had to rely on him to be kind of a leader in there too with the young kids.
No.
So, Danny Welbeck, he's been a pain in my
I think he's got 4-4.
Right. And as what you may rate him, you may not rate him. But surely we all know he's been a pain in our butts low this more than a decade now. So I'm a little bit worried about him just sneaking up there with a tiny goal.
He loves a goal versus us, yeah.
Their back line, though, man, it seems a little slow to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but just from what I know about these guys, it's just I'm not too worried about them. Of course, on the set pieces, we have to be careful, but we've been getting a lot better with that. So I think we have the beating of these guys from looking at that lineup right now.
You know what I find interesting is when I was like, I remember their left back, he caused us all type of trouble. Purvis Estupinian.
Yep.
There's also Julio Enciso. He's caused us issues before. Igor last year was doing things. Now, yesterday I was watching the pre-match show here on WeAreTottenham TV as well, and they were talking about Mats Wiefer, which I thought he would get the start as well. Apparently, he's been pretty good. But Evan Ferguson, they were talking about 2 summers ago, 100 million for Evan Ferguson, or you can't have him, and he's not even starting. What's up with that guy?
And we were crazy. We were crazy not to just pay them, which we were never. They weren't going to sell them anyway, but they're over 100 million, and we're crazy. Yeah, we
didn't spend 100 million on Evan Ferguson. Ain't out. Yeah.
An 18-year-old, because sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes they need time. They look good at the beginning, and they need time to grow into themselves right now. And he's not first choice striker at this club.
Yeah, and Danny Welbeck's taking the job from me. I think that speaks to the price tag, maybe.
There,
it does. Now let me ask this before we get into our score predictions and our goal scorers and round out the show. Is there anyone off of the bench necessarily other than Mikey Moore? We've talked a lot about Mikey Moore. I think we all would love to see some Mikey on the pitch today. But outside of that, on the pitch, for me specifically, Yves Bissouma. Now, I know he's made some mistakes. He apologized. He scored the goal. He took a bow. He said, "I'm very, very sorry." And I said, "It's okay, buddy. We forgive you because humans make mistakes, and I'm not petty." All right? So forgive the man for his transgressions. But it's almost been very tough to penetrate this starting midfield trio of Bentancur, Kulusevski, and Madison, because for 2 matches now, I think it's been like, wow, this is it. This is what we've been trying to do with our midfield for quite some time. And, Bissouma is the odd man left out of there, but every time that I've seen him still, I look back at a couple of our matches versus Brentford. He started one of the goals, or was it versus United? I can't remember, but he got stuck in the box. The ball falls to Romero. Romero finds Son. Son finds Madison. Brentford is what it was. And now that I played the goal out loud. So there's moments where he comes, and I think he was coming off of the bench as well. So he came off the bench, he had a bad pass, and then he did 3-4 things really, really good. And it's kind of like that with Bissouma. You get the here's a bad ball or two, but then here's me getting stuck in 4 or 5 times really, really well. And so it's almost a little bit of that uncertainty. And I thought we saw that a lot too with Bentancur last year. But this year, I mean, I don't mean to say it, but since the FA charged old buddy, he's been driving on the street very, very carefully and very well. He's used his turn signal at every turn. He's come to a complete stop at every stop sign. This guy, he's been... I threw it out there yesterday, which was, I think it's so unfortunate that a guy in Bentancur, we start to see levels out of him. He gets injured and he's gone for a year. He comes back. We start to think maybe he can get back to those levels. He gets injured again. And then he comes back and we're waiting for him to get back to those levels again. And then he gets racismo charges. And then it's like, well, we might miss him for 6 to 12 matches. That's substantial. That is a substantial amount of time. 6 matches or 12 matches. Either one of those, that's a large amount of time. Now, his playing ability since the FA has charged him, I can't think of a mistake he's made on the pitch, personally. So I want to throw out go ahead, Jim.
Is it since then, or is it because Kulu's been moved to the middle? Since Kulu's been moved, he's been playing so much better. I think that's got a lot to do with it, Jacob. I really do.
Yeah,
you think it's Kulu when Basuma's out there is helping him navigate the midfield more?
And they've said it too. A lot of the players have said it. When Kulusevski's in the middle, he's kind of, he's the fulcrum. Defensively and offensively, he makes our jobs a lot easier.
Yeah.
And I think Bentancur has been reaping the benefits of that, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And is there any chance that Bentancur doesn't get a ban? Because it seems to be going on forever.
Very quiet.
We are fighting it. Apparently, we're appealing it, and we're trying to make it a fine.
Yeah, and there's a possibility that because we had released him when he did that interview, but if the Uruguayan FA hadn't accepted him it was in the gray area, that maybe we're not responsible and it doesn't fall under the English FA's purview. So I think we're banking on that, and that's why it's been taking so long.
I mean, you've got to look at Sarr as well, Jacob. I know we're talking about Basuma, but Sarr scored in his last 2 European matches as well, and he's not getting a look in. But I think our midfield, all 3 of our midfield at the minute are undroppable. I don't think you can take any of them out in the Premier League at all.
I just feel that both Sarr and Bentancur, though, both of them, this rotation that we have is ideal. We have to be playing both of them, but they both need starts, and it's going to have to be a rotation depending on what kind of match it is. And if you're just going to start Basuma in the European matches, I'm fine with that going up until January. But without a doubt, the way we play and the responsibility put on their holding mid position is they both need to be sharing the time on the pitch. We can't just be leaning on one of them. And Basuma needs time to feel comfortable with himself. And we've seen that. And, I think Bento, same thing, really. When they're not playing regularly, you just stick them in. They're nowhere near as good as if they've been playing regularly.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that's a good point too. And in regards to Basuma, I think this is just one of those. It's a good problem to have when you're building a squad that you're trying to compete on Thursdays and at the weekend, and then on next Thursday, and then at the weekend. You got to have players like a Basuma who's maybe first teamer, maybe not, right there on the fringe. Sarr's kind of toted that line a little bit. For me, he's been a little bit disappointing this season outside of Europe. Europe specifically, 2-2. You can't really say anything wrong with the guy in that sense. He's a midfielder, and he's got 2-2. It's pretty dang good. But Kulusevski, for me, he has been our most consistent performer every match, whether we win, lose, or draw. Kulusevski, you know what you're getting out of that man, and I just feel like, wow, I thought maybe the false 9 was his true calling because it clearly wasn't right wing, but it's like, just give him the freedom in the middle of the park, give them young man the keys. This is my last thing I want to ask on the 11 is what is everyone's thought on Kulusevski in the midfield specifically? Because I just think he's been undroppable. Like you said, Bentancur since the ban, undroppable. Madison, as well. I think he's been hitting some good levels this year that I just don't know where else we're going to get those levels from anywhere else in the team except for if Madison hits those. But Kulusevski, I feel like we took something off of the car engine and now the car drives better and the gas is better and it's faster and more women love the car now when I pull up in it. But Kate, for you, what are you seeing with Kulusevski? What is your opinion on him and the just what we're seeing from him in the midfield?
I think he's been incredible. I mean, I'm never been a big Kulu fan because I hated him on the wing. But I always said, no, if you, Jim, you can point your finger. But I always said there's a place in this team for Kulu, but we just haven't found where it is. And he played in the middle at Juventus.
I do remember you saying that, actually. I don't know. I feel like on your channel you have said that. Because I do watch Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs. Make sure you like and subscribe.
I have said that, and like I say, he played in the middle at Juventus. We're playing in the middle here, and he looks so much more confident. He's just a different gravy. I think we've got ourselves an absolute little gem. But I never ever want to see him on the wing ever. He's got to stay.
I don't mind him out there whenever the play dictates and drags him out that way, and he's linking up with Brennan Johnson and Pedro Porro. I don't mind him out on the wing in that sense, but starting as a right winger, I couldn't agree more. Because I just thought that we weren't getting enough from him out there. He wasn't. There's not enough in his arsenal with the limited space for him to work with that he could do something nice with it. I think you open up the pitch now. He got all the room and all the tools he wants to play with, and you're really seeing him. He holds up the ball so well, even as a right winger. He can take the contact while he has the ball, and he keeps on going. He can dribble through a couple people and keep on running. I love his work rate and his engine, but. Let's get. Does anyone have any thoughts that they wanted to add or piggyback on Kulusevski?
I think clearly he's the most important player on the pitch at the moment, and that worries me a little bit, actually. I think we may get a little too complacent in relying on him. If you take him out and you put in a Sarr or Bergvall, is the drop-off going to be severely noticeable? That is all I would have to say on that. I love him in this position, and I've always been backing him since he first got here. But I'm a little bit worried about us relying on him too much. He makes Madison better, and that's scary, because Madison should be able to pull up that weight by himself. But clearly he needs a little bit of help.
But they link up. They link up very well, Nick. They play beautiful 1-2s with each other. There was one moment I think that I was like, oh, he could have laid it off to Madison, and that was really the only other mistake I saw from him. But I like it. But look, we're in the last 8.5 minutes, not even 9 minutes, 8.5 minutes. So we got to get to it and get to it quickly. So chat, you know what time it is. Jacob from United Spurs of America is hosting. That means hit me with your score predictions, your goal scores. I will run through as many in the chat as humanly possible. There is over 500 people here, so if you could get this video up to 500 likes, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But I'm going to check the panel scores and their goal scores. I will check the chats, and then I will give you mine, and we will say goodbye and pass you on over to the We Are Tottenham TV watch-along. So I'm going to start with Nick. Kate, you thought I was going to start with you. I switcheroo. I did the old
fake out.
Pull the seat out from under you. And I'm going to throw it straight back to you, Nick. Give me your goal scorers and who's scoring them goals. Or excuse me, what's the goal? You know what I'm asking.
The score, man, I think it's going to be a comfortable 3-1 with Welbeck popping up with an ugly one, with the assist by the Caro Matoma. I can see that happening. I could see a little lapse of concentration at some point, either at the very beginning or at the very end of the match. But I think it's going to be a 3-1 to me. Okay. And I think I'm going for, somebody put it, I forget who I originally heard, but 10-10 for Johnson. Man, I would really love to see it. So I'm backing that kid for another goal. This year, every single match, I'm going for a postman Porro delivery. A long bomb from the postman. And then Solanke with the tappy tap, tappy tappy tappa, just like Happy Madison said, man. He can tap in a goal every other game, and I'm going to be fine with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be upset. I mean, I think that would still get him to 19 or something like that.
Sure would.
So I'm cool with that. But I like those some good goal scorers there. And Kate, you said you're feeling optimistic today. Now, last week, I think it was the first week you got it wrong. So, let's see what's going to happen here with this week. Who's going to score the goals for you, Kate?
I am going for. I really fancy this massively. This scoreline. I've been saying it all week. I'm going for Brighton 2, Tottenham 4. a complete
Ooh.
reverse of last season's when they beat us 4-2. And I'm going for my man Brennan Johnson to get 2 today, Solanke to get 1, and an absolute worldie to come from Pedro Porro.
Ooh. Well, a couple
So-
Pedro Porro shouts there. Now,
Yeah.
you did say a brace for Brennan Johnson. That would then make it what, 7 and 6. Now, if
Correct.
Dominic Solanke could also somehow get a brace, you know, that would make him back on track with the 5-on-5. But you know, that's all good. I like that prediction, Kate. You got me feeling extra confident. But this is a little bit of that, like, you know, you're swimming in the ocean and you're swimming good when the waves are going with you, but when you swim against the waves is when I'm concerned. So I'm a little worried. You're so confident. I'm like, this is, you know, when Tottenham get our fans to really start like, yeah, we got this. That's when we're like, oops.
Yeah,
oops,
that's never a good
did
thing.
I do that?
That's never a good thing, man.
Do you want me to change and predict a loss? Would you rather?
No, I love it when you
Right.
speak. No,
There you go.
no, I love it when you speak from the heart. So I'm going to take the win. And you know what? I want you to be right because you have been right. And if you're predicting wins and you're right, we all win. So you know what? That's what I'm hoping for. And Jim, what are you hoping for today? What are you expecting to see and who's scoring the goals?
I'm a little bit disappointed in you, Jacob.
Uh-oh.
You never remembered I got the 3 goal scorers right last week.
Oh, that is
that's
true.
right.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
That is
Nick
true.
remembered.
And the score.
And
Right.
the score. You said 3-0, right?
No,
He
I
said
said
4-0, didn't he?
I said 3-1.
Oh, that's right.
With the goal scorers, and I said I was hoping it would be 4-1 and Timo would get the 4th. That was my exact word. Okay, well, I'm going to do the same this week.
So your
right?
household, then, you're pretty much like the Nostradamus of Spurs fan household.
Yeah.
Kate's getting it right. You're getting, like, when Kate gets it wrong, Jim's right on all fronts. So, I mean, y'all are really like the Mickey Van de Veen and Cuti Romero partnership that we've needed, huh? The peanut butter and jelly sandwich that was invented in 1901 and has transcended the times and echelons of generations. But Jimbo, go ahead and continue.
Right, because my prediction was going to be 3-1, but I'm going to change that again to 4-1 like I did last year. Hope it's 4-1, and I'm going to go because it did as well last week, so I'm going to go for the same thing again. And I'm going to have a Solanke goal,
Okay.
BJ goal. I am 1,000,000% convinced that BJ will score today. So Solanke.
There you go, Joe.
Solanke, BJ. I think Coots is going to get a header from a corner.
Yeah.
Right, that's my 3-1, and I'm hoping it's going to be 4-1, and that Timo gets 1.
I like that. And I hope that you're right again, because you know what? Again, if you're right, then we're all winning. Let's see what the chat is saying, and then I will give you my goal score per goal score. God, why am I struggling with score predictions and goal scores? Jesus. You would maybe because the coffee is made and it's just sitting out there in the kitchen. I forgot it. We've got Pigeons in the house. Says Brighton 1, Spurs 2. Decky with 2 goals. Dragon, let's Dragon, guys. Says 4-3 Spurs. That's a funny name. I don't know why, but 4-3 Spurs. And Cricket Talk says 4-2 to the mighty Tottenham. I'm going to assume. Dry Roast Peanut with a 4-1 Tottenham. Zadra 4-2 Spurs. Jay Murray 6-2 to the Tottenham, I'm going to assume. Stefan Fisher 3-1 Spurs. Van der Veen, Solanke, and Pedro Porro. J Max got a 3-0. Big up J Mac. Come on, you Spurs. 3-1. Nikhil's got a 3-2 again. Very nice. Gabriel with a 5-2 for the Tottenham. Do like that. Sleepy Mocha says 2-1 Spurs. Werner with the game winner from across from Kulu. Sounds like a cagey affair, little squeaky bum time. That's all right. Tim D. Camillus says 2-0 Spurs. Johnson again, and Mikey Moore gets his first off of the bench.
That
the
would be
first Mikey
sweet.
Moore.
That
I
would
do
be
like
something.
that as well. Ola Spurs or Ho LA Spurs. I don't know. I don't want to call you a ho, but Ola Spurs says 4-2. Yes. Yes. Jack Bloom, 3-1 Spurs win. Daryl Bradford, 3-1 Spurs. I do like that as well. Big up to everyone. Make sure you go subscribe to Jim and Kate. I almost said Kim and Jate. Kate and Jim. Just a Girl Loves Spurs. Get the likes up. Subscribe to their channel. Please do. It'll be the best thing you did since you made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. MM says 4-2 Spurs. I do like that. John Johan Nielsen, 3-3. Don't think we'll get another win. Well, that's not nice. But you know what? Well, I got a hug for you when we do win. How about that? Chris Peters is in the house. Says 3-2 Spurs. Cherry 20-19. Wow, that'll be something. Tony Pang is going with a 3-0 again. Donovan Ostraika. Battle of the Breakfasts, 3-0 Spurs. That's a good one. And big up for that, Donovan. Let's see if we got any more here. Alex Crossley, 4-1 Spurs. Brennan Johnson, Timo, Lancashire, and Poro. Lancashire sees the pitch and scores from Alex. I do like that. We've got a 5-0 from Sean Cadiente. Edward Y of Oz says Timo 3-1 for Brighton. Timo hat trick. I might just get a Timo shirt if that happens. Cammy, I don't know, says 2-1 Spurs win. Lucid Mr. Brown says Spurs 4 win. And the World of Football says 3-2 Tottenham goals galore. Look, he says 3-2 Tottenham goals galore, and I'm going to take it a step further, and I'm actually going to say I think it's going to be a little bit closer than we want because I'm feeling confident. So I'm going to be a little bit apathetic when it comes to my confidence. And I'm going to say it's going to be tight. It's going to be cagey, but we're going to control things. I've been feeling a 4-3 all week. Something about a 4-3. 7 goals on the day. We win 4-3. Everyone's going to be like, we conceded 3 goals. We're so naive, angel. And it gives them something to chew on and talk about. It gives all the people, three more points. It'll just be good dialect, I think, for the YouTube. Angel, we conceded goals. Which, by the way, if we concede 1 goal today, we will be on par with the best defense in the league. And I'm not going to say their name, you know who they are, but we will be on par with them. But for a naive, suicide, kamikaze football, all these connotations they love to throw at my manager, my gaffer, Ange Postecoglou. All right? They tried talking on my man nasty because we conceded some goals. Get over it. Wham, wham. We're going to concede some goals. We're going to score some goals, and we're going to kiss some badges. All right. And big up Marcus Patterson. Grabbing YouTube membership. Welcome to gold, Marcus Patterson. Big up sponsoring the channel like that. But look, I'm also going to say this. My score prediction's changing as I'm thinking of my gaffer. As I'm imagining Ainge looking at me as I'm on the pitch. I'm scoring an extra. I'm going 5-3, baby. Ainge Postecoglou with the 5th.
Yeah, do you know what? Jacob? I've got to say, I think a lot of people are undercutting our defence. We've got a good defence.
Yeah,
and
we
I
have.
don't think we're going to be leaking.
We conceded 61 goals or 62 goals. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's Halloween time, and what it reminds me of is like those scary ornaments that aren't actually scary. It's like, ooh, it's a sheet blowing in the wind. Like, ooh, I'm so scared. Yeah, it's scary for like the little kids. I'm not scared of conceding 60-some goals as long as we score 90. All right, it's that simple.
I've just got one thing to say to you. If only we were more like Brighton.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah. That's what I heard all last year. We're more like Brighton. If we operated more like Brighton, if we got Glasner, where's Crystal Palace? They're in 18th. If we had Glasner, yeah. If we got this, we got that. But look, I'm saying 5-3. We're gonna concede. I think it's gonna be bang, bang, bang. But you know what? Cuti Romero may surprise me, may say, Jacob, shut up. Put some respect on me as El Capitano. No goals conceded since he's been our captain. Well, at least in Premier League specifically. So I'd like to see that continue. I hope he proves me wrong. But I think we're going to concede at least 1 or 2. I'm saying 3 just for fun's sake and a little diversity in the answers. But look, y'all, the watch along starts in just a few minutes, so stick right here. But if you haven't already, you can find me, United Spurs of America, America's #1 Tottenham Hotspur fan channel. You can find Kate and Jim at Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs, and you can find Nick, Lazy 8. Well, you can't find Nick, all right? He's incognito.
You can't find me.
You don't know
I'm
where
invisible.
He's at. I only tell you the time zone. That's all you know.
That's right, man. And final word, man. Listen, Chelsea, Villa, Scamchester United all drop points just now, man. The Chelsea game went on for like 2.5 hours. Let's gain some ground on these fools. Let's gain some ground on them right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. 0-0 Aston Villa, Man United. Gee, if only we were more like Villa. Unai Emery. Oh, they won the transfer market. Yeah, how'd they? They won the transfer market and they can't score versus Manchester United. What are we talking about? Anyway, look, They'll talk about Glasner and talk about Thomas Frank, and then we stomped on him. I ain't heard Thomas Frank since. All right, the new flavor of the month will come out from Baskin Robbins, and they'll all fucking line up. Oh, give me the mint. Look, I'm gonna keep ranting. I'm out of here. You'll find me at United Spurs of America. Big up, everyone. As always, come on, you Spurs.